we need high involvement initially, right?
Yep.
Creating the JD with the kickoff. We need you.
Yep.
We need you in that beginning phase. That's critical. It's the foundation. It's like the bottom of the iceberg.
Good morning, David, man. How are you?
I'm good, Adam. How are you?
I'm awesome. Check out that sign. Looks great, doesn't it?
Man, we're official. We're set up for success.
That's right. 300,000 subscribers. Here we come.
That's right. If we get green glasses, we'll go to 1 million.
I'm ordering them today. They're
That's right.
on their way. Man, well, excited to be here again with you for another session of the RevOps Recruiters podcast, where our mission is to provide insights and best practices around finding, hiring, and retaining top revenue operations talent.
That's right. We're your hosts, Adam and David from RevSearch.
That's us. So, David, what are we talking about today? What are we diving into?
Today, we're going to be talking about best practices around optimizing the RevOps candidate experience.
Okay. Yeah. So usually our topics, we try to gear towards something that both candidates and companies can take away in this hiring process. I think today's going to lean a little heavier towards the company side. So candidates, sorry, we're not intentionally leaving you out. We'll have some content for you here soon. But today we're really going to focus on what the company can do to begin preparing and create this awesome experience for the candidates that they're looking for.
Yep.
Why does this even matter, though? Why should companies be thinking about this?
Yeah, the end goal is to make a good hire.
Yeah.
Right. So the steps we're going to go through are there to clarify information. So information builds trust, and trust helps ensure you find the best candidates.
I love it. Yeah. So it's this process, right? Every one of these steps has a reason, and it's ultimately getting to the point of being able to find the very best candidates so you can make the best hire possible.
That's right. That's right.
That's great. So we're going to unpack 3 key steps in this process of building trust. What's the first one? What's the first step that companies need to be working through as they're going through this process?
First part is a customized and detailed job description.
Okay.
So when we think about the process, this is your roadmap. This is what informs what this is going to look like. A lot of times it can be a time-consuming task, right? Yeah. And we found this with hiring managers that just say, we just want to hire, just go out there, find this person. But it really matters because it brings focus and clarity to the role. Yeah. The more focus and clarity you can get in this part of the process, the more precisely you can find candidates that fit your actual need.
Yeah. I've heard you say, David, that the job description is kind of like a roadmap to the hiring process. And imagine if I was trying to get from my house to your house and you just said point A, point B, get there. Yeah. Right? Not a whole lot of confidence.
Right.
But if you gave me detailed roads, landmarkers, things to look for, and it's very clear, then I have a lot more confidence that I can get from my house to your house. And so the more that a company dives into this, I think the more confidence they'll create for candidates that are looking at this role. Yeah. What else? What are some of the other things that happen from this detailed job description?
It also saves time in the long run.
Yeah.
So you're not wasting time talking to candidates who aren't a good fit for your role.
Yeah.
So being clear in that job description helps you save time.
A little more on the front end, and your time keeps you from having maybe 10 extra hours of conversation with candidates that aren't the right fit for you.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
The other part is that a lot of times there's the temptation to use a generic or boilerplate JD.
Sure.
Good candidates can sniff these out.
They see it.
Right.
Yeah.
It really does matter. You have to invest some time. And so what we encourage, our hiring managers to do is take that time, put a personal touch on it, take some time, work through those roles and responsibilities, really get a clear picture, and don't just copy and paste any JD that is relevant to this role because
well, why is that important? I mean, there's a real practical reason why you shouldn't go through that. Why is it important not to just copy and paste, but to really take the time on this?
It's because this is your company's first impression to a candidate.
Yeah.
Right. And so we need to make that stand out. If there's a bad impression, again, candidates can sniff this out. They look at that JD and they go, this is a boilerplate JD. I mean, there's not a lot of time put into this thing. It's not specific. It's not precise.
Has nothing about the company on it.
Exactly.
Other than the name.
Exactly. And so make it stand out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so there's a couple of different ways that we can do that.
Sure.
So one is the company profile.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure, let's include things about the company.
Yeah. Give them a little bit, right? We're not talking about 10 pages about your company, but let them see a little bit.
Right. Things like missions, your mission.
Yep.
The vision, the values.
Sure.
Values matter.
Yeah.
Especially now, I feel like we're shifting more and more into a value-driven. Candidates are looking for those core values. what is your company really? What is the foundation of your company? What are you trying to live out?
Yeah.
What are those values?
You want a candidate to be more excited as much about the company that they're going to work for as they are the role they're going to be playing inside that company.
Yeah.
If they're just saying, hey, this sounds like a great opportunity, but they don't really understand anything about the company, that's not going to create the longevity that you're looking for.
That's right. And then what is the unique selling point, right? What makes your company unique?
Yeah.
This is where you can really hook this candidate and get them interested and connect with that, with that unique selling point.
Yeah.
And then the next thing is the role description.
Sure.
So clear, detailed, not everything under the sun, right?
Yeah.
We're so wide reaching that it's asking for the world.
Copy and paste from the internet. ChatGPT, please build us
ChatGPT, build us a JD, please. But very precise. We want to we want to look at this role and go, we want a clear JD, and let's put in that time.
Yeah, I love this, man. Roadmap for the whole hiring process, and it's going to be key to the kind of the next two that we're going to talk about. So let's talk about the next step. What's the next thing that we're asking companies, that we're advising companies to really invest their time and effort in to create that quality experience for candidates?
The next part is a quality kickoff call.
Okay.
So this is very important because
who's a kickoff call with? Yeah. This is who's on this call?
Yeah. So your recruiter, whatever, internal recruiting team, external recruiting team. We do this at RevSearch, and we meet with the key stakeholders that are involved in this hiring process, the hiring manager, and then whoever else is going to be working alongside or has any sort of involvement in this role.
Okay.
We say be on that kickoff call.
Sure.
Because we want to know, we want to get a full picture of what this role is going to be like, and we want others to weigh in and share their needs and concerns, right? And get on one page.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
The reason this matters is the more information you can give us, the recruiter, or your internal recruiting team,
whoever you're working with,
the more confidently they and we can speak about your company and the role.
Yeah, for sure. So what are the things that we're trying to cover during that, right? So we're trying to gain some information. We're really being a liaison between you, the company, and these candidates that we're talking to. What are we looking to gather?
Yeah. So key things to uncover in a kickoff call. One of them we want to look at is the company profile.
Okay.
It's really important. We go through things like values, right? Current culture. What give us an inside scoop into what is it like to work at X company, whatever. Yeah. The products are important. Is it service? Is it product space in a SaaS company? What does that product suite look like? What is your offering, your current offering? Yeah. The next thing that candidates ask us a lot about, and especially RevOps candidates, is the go-to-market strategy. What is that strategy? Is there someone like a CRO in place that is running that strategy, and is it viable? Can we operationalize that? And just to start to get some of the visibility into how are we trying to reach these goals? What are our current sales motions looking like? Are we heavy inbound, heavy outbound, right? Product led, sales driven. What is that mix?
Sure.
These are all things that help candidates, that help build trust and help candidates see the role, truly see the role for what it is, and start to think about how can we come in and drive change? What can I do in this hiring process? What can I present? Yeah. Those are all good things. And then growth, past and future. Where are we today? Where were we? What is our story? How do we get here? Right. And what does the future look like? Right. Are we? Is it a 3 to 5 year, or is it a longevity play? Right. We're looking to be a 100-year company. What does that growth look like?
Yeah. No, that's great. I love that. And really, the good thing is that if you did the work in the JD process, you probably already gathered a lot of that information.
That's right.
So, but you're now helping to communicate it in your own words in a way that whomever is doing your sourcing for these candidates can go and tell that story. All right. So company profile, what else are we looking to gather?
Next thing is the role profile, right? The walking through that JD and then figuring out who does this role report to. Okay. Right. That's important. We covered that. Right. Yeah. Optimal reporting lines. Sure. Are there direct reports? Is there a team? Right. Those are all important dynamics for for candidates to understand, and for us to understand what is going to be that best candidate. Do they need to be a leader? Right. Is it an individual contributor role? Team dynamics. Give us some visibility around that. Needs and expectations. Again, detailed JD. Right. Location. Are we geo-locked? Is it a hybrid role? Remote? Right. Salary. Right. Where are we looking? And what does that allow us to find in the candidate market? Those are all things we need to talk about in that kickoff.
Yeah, no, I love that. What about, we get asked this question all the time by candidates. They want to know, what's the current state of operations? So
man.
what are we trying to unpack here?
So specifically for revenue operations, right? It's the entire infrastructure. What is in place? What is currently harvesting data? What are those tools? What is the tech stack looking like? Is there a process? What's going on, right? Looking end to end and saying, what is the current state of operations? Is it, sometimes we see it's a new function, first time, right? We might have to do an implementation of a CRM, or there's, you're just on spreadsheets. So it's a brand new rollout. Sometimes it's a rebuild overhaul, right? Those are all different sort of situations. Sometimes just optimizing, coming in, integrations, or data hygiene might be the biggest problem, right? We want to uncover all these things to give this candidate a clear picture and to be able to communicate. This is what you're walking into, right? To be able to see, are they good fit for this particular need?
And I think that's the crux of it, is the good fit, right? Because a candidate who's a builder may be different from a candidate who's an optimizer, which may be different from a candidate who's better at doing migrations and changes, right? So if we really understand what the state of your operations is, we can go and match that with candidates that fit exactly what you're looking for.
That's right.
And really the ultimate goal of this whole kickoff process is to arm whomever is doing your sourcing, whatever that team is, internal, external, to arm them with the equipment they need, the information they need to go out, connect with candidates, build trust with them, and be able to bring back that list of candidates that are going to be great potential fits for your organization.
That's it. That's it.
Okay, so we got through two of them. Let's talk about the third step in the process.
Yeah, the third step is going to be the interview process.
Sure.
Right? And this is where we've now established what this role is going to look like. We've got a JD, we've done a kickoff, we've got requirements, we're going out.
Yeah.
And so this is the active sourcing part for us. And we're starting to engage those candidates and bring them into the process. So the interview process, here's where we want to say, this needs to be a priority, all right? We always hear it is, and we've had all kinds of experiences, but oftentimes it plays out very differently. And so priority matters in this part of the process.
And in this time, and at this point in the process, we're saying priority really aligns with time that you're giving to these steps and to this step of the process, right? So we hear it, people say, yes, it's absolutely a priority, but then we get to that point and maybe it is for the hiring manager. Maybe they're immediately available to schedule for an interview, but there's 3 other folks that need to be involved and it's not a priority to them. So what we'd say is, if you're the responsible one for hiring and you know that you're going to have a team of folks helping you to interview, make sure that everybody in that process also understands that this has to be top priority.
Be the champion in that process, right?
For sure.
And get everyone on the same page and headed in the right direction.
So what does the priority look like? Like, what are we exactly asking them to do in that process?
Yeah. So timely scheduling of interviews is critical, right? Let's make sure we have that plan laid out. And there needs to be a sense of urgency around that, right? If we've got great talent and they're ready to interview, let's clear up the calendar. Let's figure out how to be flexible enough to fit these in a timely fashion. We're not asking a 24-hour turnaround or 3 interviews the next day, but 1 to 2 weeks is a good range to get these things done. To get these interview steps done.
And when you're saying 1 to 2 weeks, you're saying that whole process.
That whole process,
not
right?
Just the first one.
3 to 5 interviews. Let's get it lined up. Let's have a plan of all the different people involved. And this is where we sometimes say, let's do panels. Let's do some groupings, some group calls, right? To expedite that process.
Yeah, for sure. I love that.
Yeah.
What else? What are some of the other things that we're looking for them to be involved in?
So as from the hiring manager perspective, be prepared.
Yeah.
Be prepared. We ask candidates to prepare all the time. We coach and we say, look at the company. We've given you information, right? Dive in, look at the hiring manager, look at the interviewer.
Sure.
And get to know them. Little things go a long way here. You can look at something, be curious, right? And so we want to ask the same thing of the hiring manager.
Yeah.
That's a best practice.
Yeah. I'd say one of the things that's probably the biggest turnoff for me when I'm talking to a candidate is when I come into now a second conversation. They've already talked to someone else on our team. They're talking to you or I.
Yeah.
And it seems like they have no idea what this company is. They haven't looked at the JD. To me, I'm like, this isn't really a priority to this person. Yeah. This isn't somebody that I'm excited about putting forward. If that's the feeling that I have when I'm interviewing them, we don't want to create that same feeling for them where they are interviewing with someone and they're saying, I don't even feel like we've had people tell us before, it felt like the person didn't know anything about me except for my name.
Yeah.
And that's not a great feeling.
Not a good feeling.
Yeah.
So
what else?
Another thing is provide detailed feedback. And this, to your recruiter, us, the recruiter, or your internal team. I mean, we can talk about this all day.
It's how we make adjustments.
If we're
missing the mark a little bit, we need to know that.
Yeah. We need to know what's going on in your head.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about this candidate, right?
Yeah.
Let's debrief after interviews. Like, the more information we can get, the more feedback we can get, the better we can manage those relationships with the candidates, continue to build that trust, guide them through the process, and make adjustments to tailor the search if we need to, right? And be better.
Yeah.
It's always about optimizing.
Yeah.
And so feedback is critical to optimization and acceleration.
Yeah. And that feedback really helps us even with helping candidates understand if they are still in the process, hey, here's an update, here's the status of what's going on, right? Because we've seen situations where maybe a company does like a candidate, but they have a few more that they want to talk to as well. And so they're not eliminating somebody, but that candidate, we want to keep them informed of exactly what's going on. So let us know so we can manage that. Whoever's working with these candidates, they know how to manage that relationship, but they got to have information to do that.
Yeah.
So
and then give status updates, right? Status updates go a long way.
Yeah.
And so in each stage of this recruiting process, right,
for sure,
wherever the candidate is, it's important to stay in the know and to drive that forward. And for us to be able to communicate, I think that's the key. The bottom line is communication. If you can communicate with someone, you can build trust.
Yeah.
Right. If there's lack of communication and you don't have any information to share, it immediately is a negative thing.
It can break down trust.
It can break down trust.
For sure. Well, David, these are great. We've got those three things. When I think about kind of the workload of a hiring manager, it's almost like a reverse bell curve, right? So we all know what a bell curve, flip it upside down. There's effort in the front, there's effort in the back, there's a little bit of low. What does that kind of look like? Unpack that as our last thoughts here.
Yeah, it's really, we need high involvement initially, right?
Yep.
Creating the JD with the kickoff. We need you.
Yep.
We need you in that beginning phase. That's critical. It's the foundation. It's like the bottom of the iceberg, right? That sets us up for success. And then it's a little bit less, right? Low involvement. That's where we kind of go down, where, we're going to go out and do our part of the job, and, candidate sourcing and the vetting process kind of starts to go.
Right.
But then at the end, it goes back up, high involvement during interview stages, right? Where that urgency, that the feedback, all of that matters, and the offer stage to close the deal.
Yeah.
And so if we can have that involvement and take some of these steps, I think it'll set up a lot of folks for success in hiring.
Yeah.
For RevOps.
No, this is great, David. I think this is super helpful. Again, if you're a company looking at, how do I optimize this? I think if you take these 3 recommendations and apply them, you're going to find that the experience for those candidates is going to be top notch, much better than honestly how a lot of companies are doing it, because I think these are some spots where things are being missed. So,
that's right.
David, thanks for all the insight. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, this was great. Tune in, guys. Tune in wherever you get your podcasts. We're going to be here next week. Thanks so much for joining in.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, David.